The Lion, the Witch, and the Audacity of this Besh. Yes, you heard the title right. I'm going to rant a little here. A lot of it here. We'll see. But before I get into that, welcome to the Depression Files. I'm your host, Charlotte, and I am a depression warrior. If you don't know what that is, let me explain it. Depression is a chain I carry around my neck every waking hour of the day. I do constant battle with it and the stigma around it to not only survive, but little by little I'm hoping to defeat it. So today we're going to be talking about, drumroll please, entitlement. I think as soon as I said that word, many of you may have already had a picture of someone you know in your head. Well, let's take a moment to set that aside and define entitlement in the context of what I'll be speaking about in this video. Entitlement is the belief that one is inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. In short, it is the attitude and many times deluded thought of everyone owes me. I'm never wrong. It's everybody else's fault that insert whatever freaking excuse for whatever situation you want here. These types of individuals are, dare I say, narcissistic and have a superiority complex. Now, here are some examples of entitlement that I have witnessed, many just recently, hence this video. One was knowing where someone's car keys are and, without asking them, take their car to just run a little errand. 2, deciding that since you live in someone else's house that you have every right to make modifications or plan modifications on the homeowner's dime without said homeowner's input. 3, breaking promises and the conditions of some, say, major purchase that someone has offered to make for you on the premise that you will live up to your promise and conditions, and then throwing a hissy fit when they refuse to help when you broke your promise over and over because you're tired or you have a hard knock life or whatever. 4, making a huge purchase for an organization without the input of the organization, then being upset when they didn't just immediately hand you a check for it. 5, at the freaking checkout line someone calling someone else a Besh, because the cashier is already halfway through that someone's order, and that someone won't let the cashier suspend the order so that that other person can have their order rung up, all their 10 items, and then throwing hissy fit, and you just want to shout, the self-checkout's right there, and it's empty! Go! Ranty. So those are just 5 examples of things that I can think of and honestly am losing my darn hair over. Rather than continue to be annoyed by this, honestly, I had to consider the why of it. And it really came down to, I had to do some research on it. That was literally the only way. So let's just kind of consider, where does entitlement come from? So let's take it back to like the beginning of life. Those who were entitled most likely were fawned over as children, had things just kind of handed to them, had parental units who solved their problems for them, and therefore they have a sense of that's how life should be, even if they don't openly admit that. That's somewhere back there in their subconscious. Another thing to consider is that entitlement also means that these individuals rarely faced or face the consequences of their actions, and as such they kind of have a tendency to explain away their wrongdoings. As the world doesn't work that way, an entitled person really wants it to work that way, honestly. And it really doesn't work that way unless you have money. this often leads to these types of individuals having high stress, anxiety, depression, and never getting better because they never accept responsibility for themselves. This type of individual will never be a depression warrior, or any warrior for that matter. To them, the world can suck it. Someone who's entitled is also closed-minded. I think I've talked about open and closed mindsets before, or I've alluded to it. I can't remember. I'll have to look at that. But if you want to know more about them, I highly recommend reading this book right here. #not sponsored. It's just a really darn good book. Now, it is geared towards teachers, but you don't need to be a teacher to find lessons for it, for your own life in it. So the portion of it we're going to be talking about is closed-mindedness. So what is closed-mindedness? A closed-minded person is someone who genuinely has no desire to learn, to improve, or to look at things from others' perspectives, because it's all about me, 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 me. As long as I get what I want, I will cheat, I will steal, and you know what? It's not that bad because, why? I'm entitled to it. So why am I talking about this? Let's just jump into the educational portion of this. This is something I'm battling right now and have battled many times in the past, and just felt like it was a good time to share. So how do you combat someone who is entitled? How do you live with it? How do you help them? Remember that person that you pictured about 7-ish minutes ago at the start of this video? Are they still in your life? Do you feel lost as to what to do? Is cutting them out of your life not an option? Then you and I are in the same boat, my friend. So let's talk about this. One of the ways that you can help them without them realizing that you're helping them, because sometimes you have to do that, right? Is you can ask reflective questions. Let's just say the entitled person states that they just don't understand how their life is so hard when they do everything right. A good question would be, do you want to talk about this and figure it out, or do you want me to just listen? If they want you to just listen, then you can decide what to do from there. This question does, however, it signals to them that they're complaining. It's a small recognition, but it's there. If they do actually want to talk about it, or at least are pretending to want to, then you move to the next question, which might be something like, then why don't we list 3 things that are going wrong in your life, and then list the things you've done to improve that situation. Does this always work? No, but every time I've used this reflective questioning, guided coaching, cognitive coaching technique, it usually takes all of 2 to 5 minutes for them to flounder around and realize, oh, I guess I may not have as much to complain about as I thought I did. Okay. Sorry, I stepped away for a moment there. I got interrupted. Trying to stitch this together. Let's see. What was I talking about? I know I was talking about cognitive coaching. Believe I said 2 to 5 minutes-ish. Sometimes sooner than that, honestly. I've been floundering around. Generally around, sometimes it's quicker than that. Like my most recent conversation was much quicker than that. So it does give them a sense that they start to realize that, oh, maybe there's more that I could do to make the situation better. Not that they will always go, yeah, and hang on to that, right? Not that they will actually sit down and make a plan, but it is the first step to sparking that in their mind. If you're consistent with them on asking what they want when they start crying or complaining, or being consistent on asking clarifying, thought-provoking questions, there's 1 or 2 things that are going to happen. They are either going to A, stop talking to you, or B, actually start to learn from it. And that's really the goal, right? That's what we want. That's the whole purpose of keeping them around. Keeping ourselves in that situation. The second thing that you can do is to refuse to repeat a cycle. And what I mean by that is, if you have had the same conversation multiple times, remind them of all the times that you've had that conversation, everything that you've talked about, and the commitments or promises that they have made, and let them know that you have nothing more to say in the matter, and it's okay to say that. At this point, it's also good to let them know that you don't want to rehash this, because it's frustrating to you, and for you to have to watch them walk down the same burning bridge and wonder why it snaps every time. And be polite, be respectful, be kind when you say it, and if they still get mad, let them. Honestly, at that point, let them, but hold firm. If they try to guilt you, remain firm. I have seen this process from multiple angles, and either they will A, stop talking to you, B, honestly, try and shiz talk you to other people, or C, listen and shut up. Honestly, those are the two major pieces. There are many other concepts connected to both of those. For example, in asking them to reflect and think, they're building self-awareness, which they really, truly need. And they're playing less of the blame game because you're not letting them play the blame game. And in asking them to play, less the blame game without actually calling it that, they're learning to assess most of the cases after their complaint, but sometimes it will lead to before they start overreacting to something. They start to assess it. In refusing to repeat that cycle, though, they are learning that they are repeating the same mistakes. So you're refusing to repeat the cycle with them. And if, in some cases, they don't have anybody else to repeat the cycle with, if they do, they will probably go to someone else. We just have to face that reality, right? But when you're the person there and you're telling them, I'm not repeating the cycle, they are learning that repeating the same mistakes in conversations that have solutions and choosing not to use them are not going to get them anywhere. Not with you, not with your sympathy, not anywhere. And eventually the goal is to learn that it's not going to get them anywhere in life. Now, you may be at a point where you're asking, Charlotte, does this mean they're going to lash out? And my answer to that is, yeah, probably. They're going to feel attacked. They didn't do anything wrong, remember, in their own minds, so they're going to feel attacked. And I have found that when dealing with someone who's entitled or narcissistic, my best course of action is to stand firm, not raise my voice, and be the voice of reason. It's hard to refute someone who's being reasonable. And they will either listen to you, and you will start to kind of see the fruits of your labors in that, or they will walk away. And honestly, that's the last part. That last part we struggle really hard with that, don't we? I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words. But it's a struggle. We don't want that, right? And I'm going through that right now. I have someone in my life right now that if they walk away due to me standing firm, me not putting up with anything anymore, and I will say it's a gentle stand firm. I'm standing firm. I'm not being a jerk about it. But I am standing firm. I stand to lose a lot more than just them. So it's really difficult for me. However, I've learned that if I don't want to go crazy, and if I want to be any sort of help, I have to stand firm. And the reality is, so do you. In this way, you're not walking away from them. They may walk away from you, but you never walked away. And you can take solace in that. And honestly, you should. So the next thing would be, well, what if they talk ill about me behind my back? I'm just going to be harsh again and say they're already doing that. That's what entitled and narcissistic people do. When you go into this endeavor, this hardship really, you have to understand just that. They're already doing it. And also, it's a long, hard road, and you have to be prepared for it. Are you prepared for it? Are you going to face hardship and heartache either way? Yes. Whether or not you choose them to keep them in your life, there's going to be hardship, there's going to be stress, there's going to be anxiety. And unfortunately, that is just the harsh reality. And as you consider your options with that person, you have to acknowledge that reality. It is so much more stressful on you if you don't. If you try to pretend like everything's okay. You fake it till you make it. I've said it before, and I'll say it 1,000 more times, 1,000,000 more times. It doesn't work like that. You can't fake it till you make it. It's all just fake. So be true to yourself and face reality. This is what it's going to be. So here's the total reality that you need to be prepared for. If you choose to keep this person in your life, you will get your heart broken again and again. You will become so stressed that your hair falls out, or maybe that's just me, I don't know. You will have the same conversations again and again and again, unless you set a number on the amount of times that you hash over something. They will speak ill of you. They will hide things from you. They may walk away and make you the villain. They may villainize you as you work through things together. They might be doing it right now. They will pick fights. Are you prepared for that? If you are, great. Stand firm in your boundaries and on helping them until they understand or they walk away. Through it all, please don't forget to take care of yourself, as this is going to take a huge toll on you. If you are not prepared for this, do yourself a favor and walk away now. No matter how much it hurts or what people say or think, focus on you. It is not selfish to take care of yourself. For the people in the back, it is not selfish to take care of yourself. Let me repeat that one more time. It is not selfish to take care of yourself. Well, I really and truly do hope this video helped you. I hope you learned something that you can apply in your own life. And with that, I'm going to end this video with my standard outro. We adapt, we adjust, and we overcome this together.